for Buckingham News.
For Buckingham News.
Point for Buckingham News.
The Buckingham News.
For Buckingham News.
Reporting for Buckingham News.
Hello, I'm Malika Norman, and welcome to Buckingham News. Our top stories: Westminster insider John Holmes comes to Buckingham. Local theatre goers disappointed by loss of show. And Burns Night at the Mitre. Sir John Holmes, chairman of the Electoral Commission and former diplomat, came to Buckingham to shed some light on the uncertainty surrounding Brexit. The university's New Vincent Centre was packed with academics, students, and townsfolk, all keen to get a handle on a decision that has the potential to split the country for a generation. Timothy Incombe reports.
Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Sir John Holmes, was invited to give a talk at the Vincent Building, highlighting different topics regarding current affairs, his past experiences, and much more.
Well, the Electoral Commission has three roles, really. One is to oversee and monitor elections and referendums to see that all the processes are right and done properly so that people can have confidence in the result. The second is to regulate money in elections, that's donations and expenditure, so that we can try to make sure that money doesn't exercise an undue influence on the results of elections. I was responsible for coordinating humanitarian relief throughout the world. I was the Under Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, and I had a title of Emergency Relief Coordinator as well.
Running a government and being a minister is really difficult, actually, especially these days. And we need to kind of understand that and not fall into, glib denunciation. This is my view. Of all politicians, they're only out for themselves and venal and hopeless. And it's particularly tempting at the moment, I know.
I think it's very important that people take an interest in government, take an interest in politics, register to vote and vote. The main thing I would say to people is register to vote and vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain about the result. The whole point about a democracy is to vote, take an interest in politics, know what you're voting on, and then vote. And then you'll get the results you want. If you don't take part and think it doesn't matter, you're wrong, it does matter, so get out there and vote.
Sir John Holmes' lecture gave us an insight into the political spectrum in his engaging lecture. It was inspiring for those who were looking to enter that atmosphere and entertaining for those who came to listen. This is Timothy Incombe for the Buckingham News.
An upcoming production of To Kill a Mockingbird at Milton Keynes Theatre has been cancelled after the intervention of the owner of the copyright of the play. New York promoter Scott Rudin has created a new stage version of the play and has stated that all existing versions of the play cannot be performed, leaving our local theater with a hole in its schedules.
To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel by Harper Lee, published in 1960. It takes place in the fictional town of Maycomb, Alabama, during the Great Depression. It follows 3 years in the life of 8-year-old Scout Finch, her brother Jem, and their father, Atticus. 3 years punctuated by the arrest and eventual trial of a young black man accused of raping a white woman. It is a story that displays intolerance, heartbreak, and inequality. This British theatrical adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird was to be held in Milton Keynes Theatre on 22nd of February, but was cancelled by an American movie producer due to legal reasons. Scott Rudin, the American producer, is threatening to sue every British theatre that hosted or will be hosting this production. He said the agreement did not give Miss Lee approval rights over the script of the play, much less did it give her right to purport to edit individual lines of dialogue. Because of this debacle, the theaters that were set to play the show are currently handling refunds and rushing to find new shows. People who were performing in the production are also disappointed from not being able to perform nor to encourage and inspire younger audiences academically. This is Victor Chung for Buckingham News.
Should old acquaintance be forgot? Not a chance if you were down at the Mitre on the 25th of January, where neeps and tatties and haggis were on tap to celebrate Burns Night. Robert Burns' greatest hits include Auld Lang Syne, A Red Red Rose, and Coming Through the Rye. But you didn't have to be Scottish to enjoy the evening. A couple of slugs of single malt brought out the Caledonian in everyone. Catherine Barr reports.
On Friday the 25th of January, the mighty pub in Buckingham celebrated Burns Night, the annual Scottish holiday celebrating the life of the Scottish bard Robert Burns, who was born on the 25th of January 1759. The evening centred around the entrance of the haggis, a type of sausage prepared in a sheep's stomach on a large platter. When the haggis was on the table, the host, Ewan Gordon, read the address to the haggis, the ode that Robert Burns wrote to the Scottish dish.
So my parents are both Scottish. It's nice to be in a Burns night because it celebrates one of the greatest poets in history, one of the greatest humanitarians who lived 260 years ago but died a very poor man at 37 years of age. But his poetry lives on. And a Burns night is all about being together, good food, good fellowship. And that's really what Robert Burns is all about.
After the address, the haggis was cut into pieces and shared around the congregation.
Yeah, Scottish people are very good at being very nostalgic about Scotland, even when they're still there.
Do you think it's important to keep celebrating?
I think so, absolutely right. In this cosmopolitan age we live in, sometimes a bit of patriotism, as long as it's not misplaced, can be really quite empowering.
With great music, even better company, and traditional Scottish food, it's no wonder that Burns Night continues to be celebrated around the world. This is Catherine Barr reporting for Buckingham News.
No sooner than we recovered from Burns Night, we were back at the Mitre. With it being Buckingham's premium music pub, Devon-based singer Nick the Fish was called to showcase his talents once again. For an acoustic musician, Nick is a confirmed rocker, and a packed pub came in the knowledge that getting down with your best self was the order of the evening. Kareem Nabil reports.
It was a night to remember at the Mitre last Saturday, with performer Nick the Fish providing live music for the evening. The Mitre is known for its live music nights, and last Saturday evening was no different. Coming all the way from Devon, Nick the Fish performed a collection of songs to a busy crowd.
Well, like I say, proper gigs, I suppose, I started when I was about 26 or 25, just before my daughter was going to be born, so I started doing gigs then, so that's about, and I'm now 49 in March, so that's, can you work it out? 33 years.
Yeah, around 30.
Is it 33?
No, 30 years.
Despite what some may think, the live music scene was very much alive when Nick the Fish came to town. Reporting for Buckingham News, this is Kareem Nabil.
Students at the University of Buckingham were intrigued to see the arrival of cameras and microphones in their lecture halls last week. An invasion of privacy or a valuable teaching aid? Joanna Hall reports.
Software or LC technology allows tutors to record what happens in their classroom and upload it digitally. According to the Centre of Academic Practice at Loughborough University, in 2014, 63% of UK universities were reported to be using recording software. The use of cameras can be a point of concern for both tutors and students. Following the installation, we understand the University of Buckingham is in the process of agreeing the code and conduct and terms and conditions.
There's no real change to students, they'll still be using Moodle and things like that. We've positioned cameras around the university. There's still lots of work that needs to be done, and it's being done by the academic team to work out what's best for the use of cameras, and also to make sure that everybody's privacy and safety is kind of kept.
It'll be really useful if we offer degrees or courses remotely, which means we can put the whole of the teaching material on Moodle and someone can access it remotely.
I'll be a bit more wary about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to act in the lessons, because you can't really call out random answers.
I think you'll miss out on the discussion if you're watching it from home.
The launch date for the new lecture capture technology is yet to be announced, and clearly students and tutors have mixed opinions about the project. We look forward to bringing you more about the report as it unfolds. This is Joanna Hall reporting for Buckingham News.
For many patients, spirituality provides the foundation and support that enables them to move from dissonance and brokenness to a sense of well-being and wholeness. On Monday, on Dodge Hall, hosted the Reverend Dr. Guy Harrison, Head of Spiritual and Pastoral Care at the Oxford for Spirituality and Wellbeing, who spoke about how blending spirituality and healthcare can be a blessing.
As a part of the Vice Chancellor's Fireside Talk, Guy Harrison, who's worked in healthcare for 22 years, visited on Monday to talk about the importance of spirituality in healthcare.
What is this life? Or why has this happened? If there is such a thing as a God, why is it that he, she, it has done this to me? All those kinds of really profound questions arise. But they don't just arise within patients, they arise for us all. And they arise most particularly, I think, when we are faced with crisis or challenge or loss of whatever form. Faith communities, and that's a tragedy. We have to seek to work with that person in order to be able to, for them to be able to access resources that are for their own well-being and for their own healing.
So my favourite part of the talk was when the different people asked the different questions and how he approached to answer them.
Yeah, I think my favourite part was just exploring a different perspective.
I liked how he tried to answer questions impartially without necessarily forcing his faith onto us.
We hope this conversation gave you insight to mental and spiritual health. This is Hannah Jackson reporting for Buckingham News.
Code First Girls is a not-for-profit social enterprise that gives women all around the country training in information and technology free of charge. The aim is to help women more easily break into the traditionally male-dominated industries and also encourage companies to adopt a more equal selection process. Code First Girls will be running a free course at the University of Buckingham Thursday, 31st of January to 21st of March from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And now over to sports with Timothy Nku.
Thank you, Malaika. Milton Keynes Lightning has been on a 6-loss streak since their 4-3 win over Dundee Stars at the beginning of the month. On Thursday, the 24th, Lightning took on the Glasgow Clan at home in Elite League action. Ben Collins reports.
So here we go, game underway.
On the Thursday, the 24th of January, Milton Keynes Lightning took on Glasgow Clan in an Elite League hockey match. Milton Keynes Lightning currently sits in 11th place in the league with 26 points, while Cardiff sits comfortably in 4th with 47 points. In its current position, Lightning will not place in the top 8 to make the playoffs at the end of the season. Furthermore, earlier this season, the Lightning replaced its head coach, Doug McKay, with 2 of its own team as a joint player-coach duo to lead the team. The game started off as expected, considering the league standings of both teams, with Glasgow taking an early lead just over 2 minutes into the game. Cardiff number 71, Craig Peacock, looked right and shot left, sending Lightning netminder Patrick Killeen sprawling. The first period ended as it began, with Glasgow dominating possession and maintaining its 1-point lead. The score remained unchanged in the second period, with Glasgow dominating both possession and shots on goal. The start of the third period was occupied with end-to-end plays by both teams after some serious defensive discussion by Lightning in the period break. 7 minutes in, Lightning player number 10, Martin Mazanek, took applause from the home support as he upended a Glasgow player who made an attempt to score. 10 minutes later, with just 4 minutes left on the clock, Glasgow number 13, Zach Fitzgerald, scored a wrist shot from the blue line, leaving the Lightning netminder disappointed and finalising the game at 2-0 to Glasgow. On Sunday, Lightning took on Belfast Giants and suffered a 9-2 defeat, allowing Belfast to travel home with a 6-point weekend. This Sunday, Glasgow will return to the Planet Ice Arena to face the Lightning with a face-off at 5:15. This is Ben Collins for Buckingham News.
And now back to the studio.
Thanks, Tim. Calling all chocoholics, the day you've all been waiting for, National Chocolate Cake Day, is finally here. Amy Coles is in the kitchen bringing us the ultimate recipe for an amazing chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake has been a staple of society for about 252 years, dating back to 18th century America. It's used to celebrate everything from birthdays to weddings, so really it's only right that we have a day to honour one of the world's favourite treats. To commemorate this day, I'm teaching you how to make the best chocolate cake. You will need 200 grams golden caster sugar, 200 grams unsalted butter, 4 large eggs, 200 grams self-raising flour, 2 tablespoons cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon baking powder, half a teaspoon vanilla extract, a cup of freshly brewed coffee, and 2 tablespoons of milk. Heat oven to 190 degrees. In a large bowl, beat together the sugar, butter, 4 large eggs, raising flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, vanilla extract, coffee, milk, and a pinch of salt, and bake for 20 minutes. And this, kids, is why you let your cake cool before you ice it. But like, it's chocolate cake, it's still gonna taste good, so why not celebrate International Chocolate Cake Day by eating this delicious thing? For Buckingham News, this is Amy Coles. Oh!
Thank you for watching Buckingham News. See you next week.